This is reposted.
Okay, Mr. Keller, let's go to one of our favorite presidents, Thomas Jefferson, who once said, walking is the best possible exercise. Habituate yourself to walk very far. By the way, I had to look up what habituate means. That means to try and do yourself to walk every day. You know, I feel like amongst my friend crew, I'm the only person that sort of walks on a regular basis, with the exception of you, because I feel
Ooh.
like you mention every once in a while that you and the fiance go on a walk around the neighborhood, and you mentioned something you saw, and I'm always like, I feel like you're my only walking buddy.
Yeah, I think walking is amazing. I want to get back to Van Buren is probably our favorite president, but we'll have to settle for Thomas Jefferson. I really like this, and I do think of you and your family as being a very walking family. And you sent me this article that kind of sparked this. And one thing I want to push back on that article is to set the bar real low to be like, if you play a mind game on yourself, you can say, I'm going to go 5 minutes and maybe you'll walk longer. But if you say you're on a 45-minute walk, you're less likely to do it. I don't know if that's necessarily the best approach.
Is walking a new thing? Did you just start that with the fiance, or were you a walker before her?
It's definitely a new thing with her because she doesn't like to run. I used to run when I lived in San Francisco. I would run from my house to the stairs and run up and down those. But walking with her is like a good way to spend time together. When you're walking, you're less likely to be on your phone. I think even if you walk with someone or a family member, it gives you dedicated time to spend time with them. Or if you walk by yourself, it gives you dedicated time to not be in front of a TV or on your phone and just kind of be with your thoughts. So I think it is a good habit to get into.
And just kind of to combine those both ideas for us right now in a pandemic,
Hmm.
actually for our family, when we go on a walk, the kids will walk ahead of us or go on a scooter ride, and me and my wife can actually be on a date alone. It actually gives us a little bit of alone time to be out on a walk.
Yeah, we actually started the tradition of going on walks often during the pandemic because like you're just in the same place all the time. And for
Yeah.
like mental health, be like, we got to get out of here. Sometimes if I'm just in a bad mood, going for a walk helps. And yeah, do
I
you, do
mean,
you guys have a set walk time every day, or do you just it happens?
it just like we live in a very tiny place in San Francisco. There's five of us in a two-bedroom apartment, and it was just like necessity. We just always needed to get out. So there wasn't ever a real reason for it other than like it's just loud with the five
Yeah.
of us in this place. Do you know? My question is, do you have lots of friends that walk? Because as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of my friends don't walk.
I don't think I do. I mean, Los Angeles is not very much of a walking city. I think a lot of times, I think people probably drive by, look at us, and think like maybe we're homeless because we walk to the store and people just drive everywhere. I know people that pay more in their car note than they do in their rent, like cars in LA. There's not very many walking cities. I mean, Santa Monica is more walkable. My parents like to walk, but I think people are in so much of a hurry, and the convenience of a car makes it better. Also, if you like plan on walking to the store, it gives you a destination rather than I'm going to go on a monotonous walk in a circle. Like sometimes it's easier if you have somewhere to go.
You're a big real estate guy. Do you ever pay attention to walkability scores?
Oh, no, I don't.
You
I mean,
you've
I
never.
don't look at the walkability scores. I mean, I think I look at the neighborhoods, and I don't know what those scores really mean. They seem arbitrary.
Well, they're I think they're based on like, do you have location to grocery store? Do you have location
Right.
to like different types of entertainment, that kind of stuff? And they give you like, oh, your walkability things that you can walk to is high or low or
I
whatever it
think I
is.
just kind of do that by feel. But yeah, I
Use the
mean, I
force.
guess I it matters if stuff is walkable to me. Like my brother is, I think, 17 miles from the nearest grocery store. So I think his walkability might be zero. Where I live now, I am less than a mile away from a Wiener Schnitzel. So on the Larry Olson scale, I might be a
Oh,
100 on the
oh,
walkability score.
God, I would weigh 100 pounds more than I do if I was that close to. Um, what do you think of the idea of how much I? This is what I always wonder after a big walk is like, how much exercise did I really just get? Is it a lot or is it like a little?
I don't know. I've kind of looked into it. I feel like it's a little, but it's funny. I was actually about to make the point that if you're dormant or you're like doing putzing around the house, like I'm prone to snacking. And if I go on a walk,
Hmm.
I can't snack. So I think there's some version of like you're not going to be eating snacks, or you're not going to be doing other stuff, like because you're walking, it's not accessible. So that's another thing that's good.
You know what? I saw this 60 Minutes years ago, and it was like they followed some professor of like walking, and they like
What?
went outside with this guy, and they like walked a block, and he was like, "How many different things can you see if you went on the same walk?" He was like pointing out power lines and sewer
Oh yeah.
labels, and all. Like if you just paid attention, you would see a billion different things every time you went outside and walked.
Well, one of the selfish things that we do for our walking is we look at the different houses and design
Yeah.
implementations. We're like, "Ooh, I like that." And then the more you see it, the more you're like, "Oh, it doesn't look good to have this vinyl fence up because they look cheap and it's obvious." Or uplighting looks nice at nighttime.
I do lots of judging when I'm walking, like that house, that who would do that to their house, or why would they paint that house that color? I definitely do the walk judge.
I want to. What is your take on this? There's a house that I think is immaculate, and they take such good care of it. And I was like, I want to write them a letter and be like, "Hey, I noticed your house and it looks nice. Thanks for keeping it up." And Nicole said, "That's creepy. Don't do it." What side of the fence do you land on with that?
I'm non-confrontational, so I say let it be.
Let it be. But it's a compliment. You would you not want an unsolicited compliment? People like
You know what?
compliments.
Do it. I
Oh,
say, do. Uh,
we already moved out of the neighborhood.
here's my thing. If I was king for a day, I would make it mandatory for everybody to have to walk 30 minutes a day. I feel like you mentioned it. It clears your head. If you're in an argument, gives you a little perspective. You're getting a little bit of exercise. You're breathing a little fresh air. We talk all the time about John Muir, just puts you in a different mood to see a tree. If I were king, 30-minute mandatory walks.
It also gives you momentum into your, like, if you do it the first, no matter when you do it, if you start your day, it gives you momentum into the day, or if you start it like ends your day well, a book ends your day well. I make my bed every morning because it's like one completed task that gets you moving forward. And so like doing the walk, whether it's like, hey, I'm gonna go walk around the block, like you just get movement, and it's easier to keep going than if you try to get off the couch to start a new task.
My wife makes my bed every day.
Well, if you'd like turn down service, please reach out. You can find us at Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm Andrew Keller for Andy's Candies, saying thanks for stopping by.